95, 366 BCE, 3 years after King Ahasuerus had seated the throne, he decided to have a little party.
Well, I'm really pleased to see that most of you have made it to my little Ashtaroth's party. I see that Vashti hasn't arrived, and she didn't even RSVP. This party is going to last for 4,320 hours, which means that your parents need to pick you up in September. Shall we play a game of Pass the Parcel? Well, who wants some sweets and chocolates then?
He could show off her beauty, but she refused. How rude.
Let's go!
When I say Haman makes a noise, makes a noise, makes a noise. When I say Haman makes a noise, Haman noise, Haman noise.
Okay, children, settle down. Josh, where's your school uniform? Leola, you should have gone to the toilet during break. Stop giggling. Today, children, we are going to learn about Vashti. And the question we are going to ask whether she was a villain or a hero. Now, Ahasuerus wanted to show off her beauty and demanded her to come in front of all his guests, all his people, all the lords and the princes, nude, wearing just a crown. Nude to himself, like naked. Gosh. So, Vashti didn't appear. And the question is, why she didn't appear? Was it because she was a Persian feminist standing up for women's rights? Or you'll be surprised, wait, it's basically interpretation of this or was it because she didn't want to be paraded as a piece of meat? We will find out. So, hero or villain? Villain or hero? Who thinks that she was a hero? Yay! Oh. You think that she was a villain? Let's find out. The Talmud gives us two answers. The Talmud, Babylonian Talmud. The first one, that she had a tzaraat. Tzaraat is a skin disease, leprosy. The second reason children was that she'd grown a tail. Well, you would agree with me that having a tail is a good enough reason exactly not to show up in public. Now, that's what happens when you don't do your homework with your children. You have to go back to your notes. Judaism defines heroism as an act of overcoming an obstacle which is on the way of the spiritual pursuit. Whether she was a villain or hero, we will find out by learning a bit more about Vashti. Vashti's grandfather, Nebuchadnezzar, was a Babylonian royalty. A lovely king who destroyed our first temple and took our ancestors into the exile. Her father, Belshazzar, was killed by the invading Persian hordes while drinking wine from our holy vessels. Vashti was the only one who survived, and clearly with very little love for both the Persians and the Jews. The Talmud also tells us that clearly having a few lovely role models, as you can see, she had very little respect to Jewish women. Vashti forced Jewish women to work on Shabbat, and she forced them to undress. Vashti couldn't stand Jewish women, oh dear, because they showed her that there was something more and greater than just a human being or a king, whether it's king or the queen or any other person. There was something greater about the tradition and belief which they bow down to, but never to any human beings. And because of that, Vashti hated them. And she decided to destroy them by all means. And thus, she sealed her fate, dear children. Don't be too upset here. There is a bit of a continuity to the story. So after that, we need to ask an important question. Going back to the beginning of our lesson, dear children. So what was the reason of Vashti not appearing at the party? Annette has got a very smart expression on her face. I'm sure you've got an answer, but you have to wait for me to get there. The reality is that her intentions were not decent. As you can see, she says to the king of Persia, "You were a stable boy at my father's household. You paraded halls in front of you. Are you going back to where you came from?" Gosh. So, we can conclude that it had neither integrity, nor modesty, nor desire to change. She knew who she became, but she did want to bring that change. So, my dear children, we have to conclude, unfortunately. David, stop giggling. That Vashti was neither a nice person, nor a particular wonderful woman. All she cared about is herself, and she thought that she's better than anyone, and she despised the Jews as well. So we have to conclude, my dear children, that Vashti was a villain. Thank God you don't bully me.
You're resisting the temptation very hard.
Susan, if you're going to comment on the master's words of the teacher, I'm going to take you to the headmaster's lieutenant's office. Class dismissed.
When I say Haman, make some noise! Make some noise!
I don't want to say that, but Ahasuerus was a bit picky when he came to choosing a bride. But it took him 4 years and over 1,400 potential brides before he chose Esther.
To the 467th episode of Persian Blind Date. And on tonight's episode, will Ahasuerus finally find his bride? Police. So, let's meet our 3 perfect Persian pretties, all hoping to catch our emperor's eyes. Come on in, the girls! Right. So, number 1, what's your name? Where'd you come from?
Hi, Silla. My name is Anahita, and I'm from Perseposterous.
Oh, a gorgeous Greek. But will she be his number 1 too? Number 2, what's your name? Where'd you come from?
I'm Hadassah. I'm Esther, and I'm from Shushan.
Lovely, lovely. That interesting complexion you've got there. I wonder if you've been made green with any of the other girls.
What do you mean?
Yes, according to the Megillah, Esther had a sallow green brownish skin complexion.
Anyway, moving on. Number 3. What's your name and where do you come from?
My name's Yasmin, and I'm from Babylon.
Well, I wonder if our king would like to sit down by the river with you. But will it make him weep? Reminds me of a song. By the rivers of Babylon, where we stand down, where we went. Okay, moving on. Okay, I think it's time to meet our man. Okay, so he's the king of all Persia. He's the emperor of the world. He's our emperor, King Ahasuerus. Come on down. Is tonight going to be the night when you finally pick your bride? And so, what is your ideal woman? Can I call you Ahasuerus?
No. I have many women in my harem, many different shapes, ages, races and colours.
I don't think all colours.
My ideal woman would have a voice like an angel and worship me for the emperor that I am.
So, what question have you got for the girls tonight to help you decide?
Hello, ladies.
Hiya!
My question to you is, I'm really quite a big thing in the Persian Empire. I've conquered many lands and millions of people worship me.
Modest too.
So, what would you do to make me bow down to you?
Okay, and that question goes to number 1.
Hiya, Kingy. Well, I'm from Persepolis, which is Greek, the city of the Persians. And we Greeks, we love our food. And just wait till you get your mouth around my marvellous, mouth-watering moussaka. You won't just be bowing, you'll be smashing plates and crawling to the kitchen for more.
Well, you'll never go hungry with her. So, the same question goes to number 2. Will you make him grin?
Well, I actually like it to be a relationship of equals, where we both respect each other and find our own inner beauty. But once you hear my lovely singing voice, you'll be wanting me to take a bow afterwards, and also sing lots of encores.
Okay. So, the same question now goes to number 3.
What's your king? Well, being from Babylon, we love our sports. Lion hunting, chariot racing, archery. But my favourite sport of all is wrestling. Once I get you on the mat and in my hold, you'll have no choice but to submit and bow to me.
Well, Chuck, you've heard them all, but now let's have a recap.
So, Emperor Ahasuerus, will you pick contestant number 1, who believes the way to a king's heart is through his stomach? Or is it number 2, who will sing to show you her inner beauty? Or finally, number 3, who will get you in a neck hold until you agree to marry her? The decision is yours!
Well, there you have it, King. Okay, so now it's time for you to decide. Is it going to be contestant number 1, number 2, or number 3?
Well, if I've got to pick one, I think it's going going to have to be number 2.
Oh, number 2. Well, let's see the ones you've turned down. And that's Anahita from Persepolis. She's gone. And then there's number 3, and that was Yasmin from Babylon. She's gone too. So, your blind date for this evening and your future bride, come on in, that's our Esther from Shushan. And we wish them all the best for their future lives together, and that's the end of the Persian blind date for tonight. Do tune in again.
She was 40 years old, but in other places surveyed at 74, which is the numerical value of the name Hadashia. In no tradition maintained that she was 80 years of age.
I can see why the emperor was so attracted to her. A green-skinned pensioner with wonders of modern technology, we have managed to recreate a reproduction Esther may have looked like. She obviously had a lot of inability.
When I say Haman makes them rise,
Mordecai's plan had worked. He had managed to get Esther into the palace, but how was he going to influence the emperor to stop the evil Haman persecuting the Jews? But why don't we let Mordecai tell his own story?
Let me tell you my story. It all began like this.
I'm Mordecai, very good. You know me, I love me, and I love you. I am a descendant of the great King Saul. I made wicked Haman Queen Jackal. I covered the traitors with talent to rest, and defied wicked Haman and his wicked wives there.
when I say Haman makes some noise, Haman noise, Haman noise. When I say Haman makes some noise, Haman noise, Haman noise. You ain't no love like Haman no love. Haman does, but you know it's in the air on the boys and girls. And I
horse with attitude. Why try and get us so mad at you? My check, 1, 2, and I have hot who? Try and make us cry so we laugh at you. So I rode on a horse with a crown on my head and a hand wicked Haman and son of his stead. So Jews of Shushan, 21:27, I've been thankful to God in heaven. And now it was day, and as the sun grows on, to celebrate Purim with glad sun toilet.
So Esther is queen, Mordecai's prime minister, Haman's been hung, and the Jews can't be persecuted anymore. Or can't they? The decree to allow the persecution of Jews can't be revoked. So Esther and Mordecai created a new decree that allow the Jews to defend themselves against oppression. So what did they decide?
Kill them! Ha 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 ha.
Yes, the Jews rebelled and killed over 500 people in Shushan. Amongst them were Haman's 10 sons.
And what did Esther do
Your Majesty, I'm pleased to report that we have killed over 500 of our enemies in Shushan, and now we have control of the city.
Excellent.
Amongst the dead are the 10 sons of Haman. What should we do with the bodies?
Hang them.
Okay, well, sorry, what did you say?
Hang them.
You didn't catch the bit about them being dead.
I know. Hang them.
You want that just for a double check?
Hang them.
So you want us to hang 10 dead bodies?
Are you deaf? I said hang them.
Okay, this is me leaving to hang Haman's 10 sons, who are breathing, have kicked the bucket, shuffled off to their mortal coil, ceased to be ex-Persians.
What, you wouldn't want to get on more that far, would you?
Chip Rat, you'll be next.
Moving on. Yes, it's true. Esther had Haman's son hung, even they were already dead.
Haman's sons are considered evil, and during Purim we say their names really quickly without a breath, as if not to give them any importance.
Told me I was bad, but then one day he said the words that spare me aching nose. You're the sons of Haman and you're better than those Jews. We're Aspasar, Arizasa, Arizai, Manasa, Adonai, Adalphan, Adonai, Marasa, Panasta, Vaisasa, Expialidocious. If you say it loud enough, it really sounds atrocious.
He travelled all around the world and everywhere he went, he'd subjugate the masses. He's such a clever gent. When kings and maharajas pass the time of taking me, they better do what we say, 'cause Haman's our daddy. We're Aspasar, Aridasa, Arisabajasa, Adonai, Adalphan, Aridakarasa, Amashara, Vaisasa, Expialidocious. If you say it loud enough, we really are atrocious.
So, Mordecai and Esther decreed that every year, on the 14th of Adar, Jews should celebrate their freedom from to this day, Jews all around the world celebrate Purim in different ways.
The young men rode through the Jewish street of horseback, camels and asses in memory of the verse, and they brought him horseback through the street of the city.
On Purim Eve, torches containing gunpowder will be ignited. During the Megillah reading, the gunpowder exploded with a deafening noise.
The ground would usually be covered in snow. A large snow haven was built with a funny-shaped torso, long thick legs like elephants, a large head, eyes of charcoal, a carrot for a nose, a piece of beetroot for a mouth. A gold chain made from watermelon peels was hung over the stomach as a symbol of office. A broken pot was placed on the head. A large fire was made, and they stood and watched until Haman melted in the heat and disappeared.
The children drew pictures of Haman on planks or cardboard. During the Megillah reading, the planks were thrown to the ground and trampled on, making a lot of noise. Wooden gloves, a kind of wooden sandals, were held in the hands and clapped together, also making a loud noise.
Children used to take smooth stones, write or engrave Haman's name on them, and strike them together during the Megillah reading whenever Haman's name was mentioned.
Youngsters threw an effigy of Haman into the fire and jumped over the fire, competing to see who jumped highest. Haman would set up 2 sticks, lengthwise and crosswise, like a kind of cross, cover them and declare in a loud voice, Haman the wicked. This is the source of the Yemenite Jewish saying, in Adar we put up Haman crosses.
The children would gather in the street and stand in 2 lines. They would then throw nuts at each other.
In a small congregation in a city in the Midlands of England, in 2013, a new tradition putting on a totally absurd Purimspiel plays was started.
You've got to join in with it, everybody, because the words are on the board.
Trekking across the universe, on the path of freedom under Mordecai. Jews trekking across the universe, only going forward as we can't find reverse. There's Haman who wants us to bow, us to bow, us to bow. It's Haman who wants us to bow, us to bow, boo. Purimspiel, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. Purimspiel, but not as we know it, not as we know it, no. There's Haman who wants us to bow, us to bow, us to bow. There's Haman who wants us to bow.
we quote the 4th century Rabbi Rave. One must drink on Purim until the person cannot distinguish between cursing Haman and blessing Mordecai. L'chaim.
This wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate Purim properly with the Purimspiel. I would like to say a few thank yous, and the first thank you goes to our technical team, which is Brian, Jonathan and Adi. Big thank you. And the last but not least, thanks go to our script writer, production director, etc., Mike Saka.